go live on everything. Okay, I think we're going live. We're live on.
We're good.
Okay, good.
Hi everyone, aquí David Morales con el abogado
Jonathan Shaw, el abogado Jonathan Shaw. Good afternoon. We're going to answer a few questions today about deferred action. Just a quick introduction. I'm Jonathan Shaw. I have several years, I guess, practicing in the area of immigration. And since DACA has been around, I've been there the whole time from the beginning to the end and to like the post end right now, you know. So, in this Facebook Live, you can send us any questions. I'm with Intermountain Immigration, and then David has his app. I'll let him talk about that.
Yeah, so for those who don't know me, I am David Morales, the creator of DACA Scholars app. Right now we help over 84,000 dreamers apply for scholarships, internships, and job opportunities. So the space is open to all of you. If you have any questions regarding DACA or the latest on what's going on with the renewals, please send us a question, and the attorney Jonathan Shaw will be here to answer the questions. Soy David Morales, el activista Dreamer, creador de la aplicación DACA Scholars. Si tienen alguna pregunta sobre lo que está pasando actualmente con DACA, por favor manden sus preguntas y aquí el abogado Jonathan Shaw les va a ayudar a contestar sus preguntas y dudas.
Ok, buenas tardes también en español, ¿verdad? Soy el abogado Jonathan Shaw. Tengo desde antes de DACA, trabajando con un abogado de inmigración, entonces lo he visto todo desde su inicio hasta su final. Si tienen alguna pregunta, pueden mandar su pregunta aquí en vivo. Tenemos algunas personas participando ahorita en el Facebook Live y estamos en vivo en 3 canales diferentes. Si tienen alguna pregunta que no quieren poner aquí al aire, si gustan mandarme un mensaje al Intermountain Immigration, solo buscan en Facebook Intermountain Immigration y me pueden mandar un mensaje privado. All right, so we're trying to jump back and forth between English and Spanish. Most of it's going to be in English because the DACA community, the Dreamers, basically this is their country. They came of age in the United States, and lots of them found out that they were not U.S. citizens. Like the first time they went to apply for a job, they show up and they're like, hey, so I want to apply for a job. The person asks for their social security number and they're like, let me ask my mom. And then mom tells them, well, son or daughter, here's a little bit about your history. You were born outside of the U.S. and we brought you here. And so that's how we get to this situation with a lot of people, and why we're going to talk probably mostly in English. The first thing we were thinking about talking about was this latest development where, I don't know, I think, what were the numbers? Was it like 7,000, 8,000 people or more than that?
So I think people who got their applications rejected, it reaches 4,000. Around 4,000 dreamers were the ones who sent their documents. And for some reason or another, they were delivered late. Or maybe what was now shown on the New York Times article is that it actually made it to their offices on the 5th, but they decided to leave it there and check it the next day. And so when they checked the mailbox the next day, it was the 6th of October, and they decided that everyone was late, even though the U.S. Postal Services or FedEx or UPS delivered it on time. Yeah.
So there's several thousand people in that group of people that sent everything on time, did everything they were supposed to do. Kind of like the whole life of the DACA kids, right? They're here, government offers them a program. Hey, you can get a work authorization. They do everything they're supposed to do, and then the next administration are like, just kidding, we're going to take that away. So that's what happened. So I guess the latest news, what we're hearing on that, is that they are going to accept those applications, at least that group of applications. And it's kind of insignificant. It's like, okay, well, we sent things and it was an obvious mistake and we did what we were supposed to do, so you should fix your problem there, mail system and USCIS, right? Mm-hmm. The big deal to me is it's the first time that the Trump administration is sort of like blinking. It's sort of like saying, okay, we messed up. Right?
Yeah.
That's like the big news about it. Like, it's the first time in immigration, like the area of immigration since like Trump came into office, that he's actually recognized, okay, we messed up. You should be able to apply for this thing.
Yeah. And in reality, it is, don't feel bad if your DACA application was rejected. There is an email that we will give you shortly, which you can contact, and they will answer any questions. You can also call the 800 number of USCIS and talk to a representative, live if you don't want to talk to a computer. Or you can also just send us the questions or call el abogado Jonathan Shaw y te vamos a ayudar a ver las maneras en que puedes mandar tu solicitud, lo que se tiene que mandar y cómo hacerle para que te llegue tu permiso de DACA.
Okay, so maybe we can just kind of repeat a little bit of that in Spanish. So lo que pasó fue de que inmigración ahora dijo que van a aceptar las aplicaciones que rechazaron porque se enviaron a, bueno, se mandaron a tiempo, pero inmigración los encontró en el correo un día después y los rechazaron como a 4,000 un poco más dependiendo, ¿verdad? Pero ahora sí van a aceptar esas aplicaciones. And so that's kind of where things are at with the DACA thing. Now, I have been watching relatively closely some of the different things. I know that the Democrats are putting a lot of pressure in the government right now on Republicans to say that let's not break for the Christmas break for the holidays without having a vote on a clean DACA bill. So that's what we're kind of pushing for too. And I think through the different websites and different ways that we can communicate with our representatives, that's something that we need to push for, is to have a new clean DACA bill. Kind of what we're talking about. There's been 4, 5, 6 different bills presented, but some of them are kind of bad. It's like they'll acknowledge that you were brought here. It wasn't your fault if you have DACA, right? But they won't give you a path to residency or citizenship. And so what we want is something that eventually lets the Dreamers become residents and citizens. And not only that, but lets them be like any other resident or citizen and petition for family members in the future. We don't want some dead-end thing where, okay, we'll just give the Dreamers, we'll let them become residents, but nobody else. Like that doesn't work that way. If you're a citizen, you should be a full citizen and be able to have all the rights of a citizen. So we're watching that closely as well. There's not, big news in that area. We're just watching, just like everybody else, closely and hoping for some positive movement.
Yeah, and in reality, I don't want any of you to feel discouraged, to think that DACA is ending and that's the end of it. We've been to Washington, D.C., we've been talking to our senators and our Congress people, and there is really good hopes of DACA, a solution passing soon. We think that before the end of the year, a solution might pass. If not, then we have a couple of days in the next year. But even if it doesn't happen, the Department of Homeland Security and the Trump administration already told us that they will review DACA again if nothing is fixed by Congress. So even if nothing was to happen, don't feel like it's the end of the world. Just be engaged. Call your senators. There's a lot of ways you can contact them. Forward.us has put a lot of great information out there for us to contact or representatives. So again, don't feel bad, don't feel discouraged. We're here to help you. Any questions, please send it to us.
The other thing that to keep in mind too is a year from now, there's this pretty big deal where a lot of people in Congress in Washington, D.C. could be losing their jobs if they don't do something positive, right? So, we have deadlines coming up. March is coming up soon. The other thing that I want to say, like I've done different interviews, TV interviews, one with Telemundo recently where one of the questions was, there's a lot of people that are kind of making drastic decisions right now on like what to do. And I get it. Like I have kids, I'm a dad, my job, my business, like whatever. So you want to make sure you have security, right? And so you're looking at plan B, whatever. Don't make any big drastic decisions that involve like leaving the country. I knew of one, heard of one person trying to apply to leave the United States and go to Canada and start life in Canada. Like I wouldn't make big decisions like that, because the other thing is, if you leave the country, you might not be coming back, right? So I would say stay in place and just live life. Keep paying your car loans, keep paying your student loans, keep paying your home loans, do everything you need to do, pay your taxes, all that, so that, come the time when a new program is presented, you haven't put yourself in a worse situation just because you were a little bit freaked out and didn't know what to do.
Yeah, muy bien. Si tienen algunas preguntas, we just see that Hugo saying hi. Hi, Hugo.
So Hugo, Hugo says hi. Hello, Hugo.
Hi, Hugo. Pero en realidad si tienen cualquier pregunta, Sean, ¿cuál es tu número de teléfono? ¿Te pueden llamar?
Bueno, tenemos un número de teléfono aquí, pueden llamar al 801-413-0123 con alguna pregunta, o como siempre me pueden mandar un mensaje por Facebook. También estoy en Instagram. Si buscan el abogado Jonathan en Instagram, me pueden mandar un DM, y hasta en Snapchat también a veces me mandan preguntas, y estamos tratando siempre de utilizar las redes sociales para contestar, y más que nada con los Dreamers, porque pues los Dreamers son millennials, ¿no? Y yo a veces trato de incluirme en los millennials. Creo que al principio quizás llego a ser miembro del grupo de los millennials, ¿verdad? Uh-huh. Pero y nos gusta comunicar por diferentes formas, ¿verdad? Con las redes sociales. Entonces, like, if you have a question, don't send me, like, probably write out a letter and then stick a stamp on it and send it in the mail, because it'll get to me like 6 weeks later. Just send me a quick DM on Insta and I'll answer you. Any questions you guys might have.
Yeah, y para los que Para los que tienen la aplicación DACA Scholars, el abogado Jonathan Shaw es la persona que nos va a empezar a ayudar a contestar cualquier pregunta. A veces nos llegan muchas preguntas a la aplicación o a nuestras páginas sociales y a veces no tenemos la respuesta porque yo no soy abogado. Yo solamente pongo toda esta información que es beneficiaria para ustedes y la ponemos en la aplicación. Pero si tienen cualquier pregunta sobre un caso en específico, los vamos a referir con el abogado Jonathan Shaw. Él es una persona honesta que en realidad se preocupa por la comunidad y en realidad que estamos confiando en él y en su trabajo porque sus acciones han demostrado que en realidad le interesa el ayudar a la comunidad hispana. Entonces yo sé que a veces me llegan muchas preguntas a mi Facebook personal o a la página de DACA Scholars y les agradezco la confianza, pero también vamos a hacer videos cada semana o cada 2 semanas aquí con el abogado. Entonces cualquier pregunta que tengan, por favor déjenos saber. Él está aquí basado en la ciudad de Utah, en el estado de Utah, pero él puede representarlos en cualquier lugar donde estén. Si estás en Kentucky, en Wyoming, en New York, no importa, el abogado Jonathan Shaw te puede representar. Así que cualquier información, cualquier pregunta, cualquier duda, por favor háganla saber.
Eso es un buen punto también, porque en otras áreas de leyes el abogado debe representar a la persona dentro del estado, ¿verdad? Pero a nivel nacional uno puede representar a todos en cualquier estado, digamos, con tal de tener su licencia en un estado y luego practicar en el área de inmigración, porque inmigración es a nivel federal. Así que, so here's the thing: is like with the older generation, maybe parents, grandparents, or whatever, it was always like this face-to-face thing where you wouldn't want to hire somebody or have somebody represent you if you didn't meet them face-to-face. I do a lot of traveling too. I have cases like I just recently had a case in California, Texas, and then I do a lot of traveling over to Colorado. But the millennial group and then the dreamers, it's not really a necessary thing. We get it. Like we live in 2017, soon to be 2018, right? Like you can hire somebody and they can do a good job for you and maybe not have to be physically present there. We have several people that have joined us, and so I guess I'm trying to see from here little names, and my eyes sometimes are bad, but we have Juan, Alberto, Hector, Hugo, Nidia, so several different people that have joined us, and so thank you for watching. Please send us any questions. Some of the frequently asked questions, one of the ones that I got recently, a lot of people are asking me this: what happens with my social security number? Because with DACA, you get your work authorization, you get your social security number, right? So I tell people, just keep using it. It's always your social security number that's assigned to you. And so use that to work, to pay your taxes, everything, right? I think that it's super important wherever you're at to not steal any, to not fall into the temptation to steal somebody's identity to try to work. And the reason is this: like eventually, if you want to apply for some program with DACA or some other program in the future, you don't want to have any criminal history, and especially in areas where you might have stolen somebody's identity, something like that, right? So stay out of trouble that way. You have, if you had DACA and you're losing it, you still have your social security number. Don't use any other social security number for anything, and you're not going to lose it.
Also remember that by law, you're not obligated to tell your employer like when your DACA expires, as long as you have your social security number. If they don't ask anything, don't say anything. I mean, you can if you want to be that honest. But again, you don't have to be telling him like, hey, my DACA is going to expire in 2 weeks, because then he's probably going to fire you. So please be careful. Don't lose hope. Going back to what's going on with the DACA applications, if you have any questions, please send an email to lockboxsupport@uscis.dhs.gov. and they will be able to talk to you, or also again on their 1-800 phone number. But please follow the guidelines posted on USCIS website. They're not really sure on how they're going to handle all of this because it is something that just happened. It's something that they probably didn't want to deal with, but it came out on every newspaper because they realized that it was a mistake by the postal services, and now 14,000 dreamers are at risk of deportation or losing their status very soon. And again, we need to pass the DREAM Act because once DACA goes away, 1,400 dreamers a day are going to lose their status. So please be engaged. Please call your senators and send us any questions that you have.
I think I saw a statistic the other day in an article that said even today there was like 122 people per day losing their DACA status, people that didn't get to apply on time. And it was kind of, it was kind of a bad deal because if you're a dreamer, you're trying to make ends meet, you're trying to make things work. Suddenly the U.S. government's like, hey, by the way, you have 30 days to come up with $495 to renew your application. And you're just like, what? Like, you couldn't plan for that. Like, what do you do? A lot of people had to reach out to different organizations for help, and we're thankful for all the people that the nonprofit organizations, the different consults from different countries, and everybody that came forward and helped people. A lot of people like myself and several other attorneys that I know donated our time. We didn't charge to renew a lot of deferred action applications, and try to come forward and help out. But there were thousands of people that weren't able to apply. And so 122 of them per day, according to this statistic, are losing their DACA status and just entering this status of sort of limbo. Like, what happens now? Another legal question I can kind of throw out there for people that are listening is what happens now? Like, let's say I have DACA. I just met with a couple the other day, actually. Both of them have DACA. They have kids. And they're like, what do we do? Like, we're going to lose DACA. Early in his administration, so earlier this year, 2017, Donald Trump came out and said that anybody who doesn't have status in the United States could be considered a priority for deportation. So now that can be taken sort of with a grain of salt, because it's one thing is to say something. The other thing is the ability to do it. They don't have the ability to search for everybody that doesn't have papers here in the United States. What they've been continuing to do, and this has been consistent throughout the year, is continuing to arrest people who have criminal history, who have been detained, and who are trying to get on a bond or something like that. So the best case scenario is to stay out of trouble. On the weekends, we have Thanksgiving coming up, Christmas coming up, and then the New Year. Use Uber and Lyft. Like, you're millennials, most of you, right? If you're dreamers and you're out drinking, don't drive. Don't do that, because that's going to get you in removal proceedings, right? Use Uber. Like, just grab an Uber and go home. And then that's a way to stay out of trouble. But if somebody does get in trouble and does get arrested, one thing we know about the dreamers for sure is they meet two of the three requirements to be able to file an application for cancellation or removal, which you can only do if you're in deportation proceedings. Number one is you've been here for more than 10 years, and that's one of the requirements. And number two is generally you have a criminal record that's not crazy bad. You don't have what's called a crime involving moral turpitude. Otherwise, you wouldn't have DACA. Now, if you have a U.S. citizen family member, a resident family member, like kids or a wife or a husband or something like that, that's the third requirement. And so there would be a long process where you could defend your case against deportation, and you'd have a hearing before a judge before you're ever deported. That's why I'm saying don't make crazy drastic decisions like you're just going to leave. Like, even if they try to deport you, you're still going to have a long process, right? But the main thing is don't get in trouble, especially this holiday season coming up. Just, be smart. Don't get in trouble. The last thing we need in general in the whole country on this movement with DACA is bad PR. We don't want, articles flying all over the place about, hey, look at this dreamer. He, robbed a bank, or this dreamer killed somebody because he was driving drunk and he hit a kid who was coming out home from school, because then that makes everybody in the group look bad. We all need to work together on this and make sure that we have, we are who we are, I guess, as dreamers, right? That, basically we're Americans, and we're here we want to do the best we can for the country. And so, for your own case, but for the good of the whole group, stay out of trouble.
Sí, muy bien. Y otra vez, si tienen cualquier pregunta, nos pueden llamar al abogado Jonathan Shaw. Vamos a hacer videos cada semana donde vamos a responder preguntas. Vamos a tocar diferentes temas, por ejemplo, como conoce tus derechos, o poder cerrar un caso administratively closed, o las diferentes maneras de aplicar para una visa U, si fuiste víctima de algún acoso, algún robo, o alguna... todo esto se va a explicar durante las semanas. Entonces, por favor, a cualquier pregunta, mándenos. Si no les contesto en mensajes privados, vamos a contestar sus preguntas aquí. Pueden llamar también si quieren dejar su número de teléfono, y nosotros les llamamos y hablamos con ustedes. Todo esto va a ser gratuito para ustedes por ser parte de la familia de DACA Scholars, por estar conectados aquí conmigo en mi página David Morales y estar en la página del abogado Jonathan Shaw y de Intermountain Immigration.
Así es. Entonces también, bueno, estamos hablando mucho en inglés, pero también en español, ¿verdad? Porque yo creo que es importante. Muchos de mis clientes me dicen, es bueno que usted hable español, porque así no tiene que tener alguien que le traduce. Yo le puedo explicar directamente lo que necesita, ¿no? Pero le quiero hacer una invitación en español y luego en inglés también a todos que no tengan, si están viendo ahorita o van a ver pues en el futuro, porque estos videos quedan aquí en las redes sociales. Si no tienen todavía el app de DACA Scholars en su celular o en su tableta, busquen en la tienda de apps que tienen en su teléfono, y bajen la aplicación de DACA Scholars, porque entre más personas lo tienen, pues mejor. Y hay muchos recursos muy importantes ahí para los Dreamers. So anybody that doesn't have DACA Scholars app, look in your app store on your cell phone, on your tablet, whatever it is, download DACA Scholars so that you have all those resources at your fingertips. There's a lot of good stuff in there, and even I was looking recently some scholarships that are still available for Dreamers. That's another question I've had recently. It might be more your area than my area, but I've had a couple of DACA people ask me, like, I'm in the middle of studying, like I'm a student. What do I do? Do I drop out of school now? Like, what happens, you know? I've encouraged people just to continue to study and actually go to the app and look for different resources to help them meet their financial obligations as they study. Because the thing is, I'm thinking this is kind of a temporary pause, and eventually we're going to have a program. You don't want to put your life on hold because you got scared, so you dropped out of school. Like, just keep going to school. You know what I mean? That's my advice anyways. What have you been seeing?
Yeah, so when it comes to scholarships, it is pretty tough to find scholarships that are open to us, because it depends so it depends a lot, you know, like the semester. Obviously, if you're getting ready to go back to spring semester, then you apply in the fall. If you're going back in summer, then you apply in the winter. Also, you apply in the spring for summer classes, or also for fall classes. So you have to kind of think ahead. Some scholarships that might apply for the next semester, spring semester, might not be open because the application already happened in September, October. So you just have to be on the lookout for scholarships. It also depends on the state. There's many states that allow you, like the state of Utah, where we're at right now. It allows you to apply for some scholarships that are open, as well in California. You can apply for many scholarships that are open to U.S. residents. So you kind of have to think about the time frame of when school is, or when you're going back to school, or when you will need it the most. And also checking the applications, the deadlines of the applications, and seeing what kind of field and what kind of state you want you're going to school. I know it's a lot of things to look at, but there is scholarships, there is financial help for you. There is many schools that give scholarships for students. Also, something that a lot of Dreamers have been doing lately is working at the campus, because once you work at the campus, they pay for your tuition. So that's a great way to work. That's a great way to use your DACA status, your work permit. Work at the campus, work at the college. Even though you're going to be there from, you know, desde que sale el sol hasta que se mete el sol. But once you're there, it's going to help you get into the school habit. You're going to be in school all day, and I know that's, you know, something that maybe not all of you want to do. But working at the campus gives you free tuition. So maybe that's something also to look at when you don't qualify for scholarships.
I think that's super important. What you're saying is you got to keep going, keep moving forward. And then get together. So on these, you know, if you don't send in questions, maybe here in the comments, and even on the replay, put in tips for each other. We need to use the you know, social media to share tips. What are you doing? Like, are you working on campus? Like David mentioned, like, what are you doing to get school paid for? And we can kind of come together in sort of a group think type situation and share all our ideas. That's one of the benefits of living in 2017 right now. Like, we have several people watching us on 3 different channels, who are able to watch this. They can share this video out, and then you can share ideas in these links or with each other, and we can kind of connect and come up with good ideas on how to keep moving things forward. So we might end up here pretty soon. I think you might have somebody send a quick question here.
Yes. Erika Perez said, any news on DACA updates? Anything before the end of the year?
Yeah, so we talked about that a little bit earlier. And sorry, my office phone is ringing here. But we talked about that a little bit earlier. And Democrats, they're in an interesting position because they're in the minority, kind of, but they're in a position to kind of pressure Republicans right now. And so they're going to try to get some votes out by before the end of the year for something. I'm not sure if we'll actually see a program all the way, go through even before March. It's up in the air, but we need to keep pushing forward. So keep up to speed. One great place, and we talked about this earlier, right? One great place to keep up to speed on what's going on with DACA is to download that DACA Scholars app in the App Store. Get that on your phone, or keep track of our different Facebook pages. I know that on our Facebook page for my law office, Intermountain Immigration, we're always updating things as we see them. And you can also give us a quick call, 801-413-0123, or send us an instant message or a private message with any questions you might have. So yeah, I think we're kind of wrapping up. this quick first Facebook Live in collaboration between DACA scholars, David, myself, and Intermountain Immigration, right? But if you have any other questions or anything, go ahead and send us your questions. Get in contact with us. I know that David's on his phone constantly, and so am I. Try to be in contact with everybody. Like I said, it's 2017. Like, you don't need to just come into my office or like call us or whatever. You can send us a quick message and we'll be in contact and we'll keep you up to date on whatever news we hear.
Yeah, and those for you who are joining through the DACA Scholars page, again, if you have any questions for El Abogado Jonathan, just send him a message. We'll post his link off his Facebook page where you can ask him any questions. And because you are a DACA Scholars recipient, or I mean, just because you're a DACA recipient, but because you use DACA Scholars app, there is no charge for the questions. We will answer the questions free of charge. So please, if you have any questions in regards to DACA before the end of the year, there is good chances that it might happen. If it doesn't happen, we will keep you updated. But I know for sure that when this deal first started with taking DACA away, I would talk to my senator office and I would ask him, hey, how many people called in favor of DACA? And they would be honest and say, honestly, more people called against DACA than because they were for DACA. But now, as time is passing by, I think we're getting the message across. I think a lot of dreamers and their families and their employers and everybody, educators, are calling now senators. And so I actually talked to my senator who represents me in Washington. I barely talked to their office last Thursday, and not this Thursday, but last Thursday. And he said that now more people are calling in favor of DACA and the DREAM Act than against. So we are making a difference, but we need you to keep putting that pressure. We need you to keep calling your senators. It's making a difference. Please don't give up. I know you can send emails and tweet your senator, but it's more personal when you give them a call, when you visit their offices, when you let them know that this is important to you, and that as constituents, they should be able to represent your views, and that you're for DACA, you're for the DREAM Act, and I'm sure we will get something going on soon.
Okay, so thanks. Send us your messages. Mándame un mensaje al privado a Facebook con su pregunta. Y aquí estamos para apoyarles y contestar sus preguntas. Gracias.
Sí, hasta luego. Gracias.